After 5 years of separation, Adrian's daughter had become a zombie. Even though Hannah was completely unrecognizable, Adrian identified her instantly. With a heart full of pain, Adrian looked at his daughter and then opened the door.
Adrian! Adrian, no!
He reached out to embrace Hannah, utterly disregarding his own safety. Because this was his daughter, his treasure, what did it matter if he was attacked? The 4 onlookers were heavy-hearted. In such a situation, they could neither intervene nor stop it. 3 hours later, Naomi stitched up Finch's wound. Finch's surgery was a success. All they needed now was to wait for the child to wake up. After these events, Dwight and his wife had decided not to return to Padre. They were preparing to escape with their child and lead a good life. Additionally, they invited Naomi to leave with them.
No, we agreed. When Finch wakes up, we're gonna take him away from this place.
Yeah, we're gonna try and be a family.
What's that got to do with me?
Your family.
Dwight earnestly said, "You now have no attachments and are filled with guilt. We're genuinely afraid that one day you'll feel life is meaningless. And do you remember, if it weren't for you and John, I might still be a fugitive, possibly dead in some corner. You saved me, and because of that, I found my Sherry and now have a family. If you're willing, I hope you can become a member of our family." After a long silence, Naomi finally gave her answer, but before she left, she had to give Adrian and his daughter a ride to help them out. With that, Naomi turned and walked toward the interior of the carriage, but the carriage door burst open with a bang, and several collectors rushed in, clearly surrounding them. A woman slowly walked in. It was Shrike.
Hello, Blue Jay?
When Naomi woke up again, Shrike's face came into view.
How did you find me? I figured it was you as soon as the collectors started showing up to the island without...
Speaking, Shrike also raised her hand, on which conspicuously lacked an index finger. Only Naomi could have done such a precise act. Shrike had learned of a child needing surgery and had thus easily found them. Then Shrike went on a lengthy tirade, claiming this carriage carried the future hope of humanity, and insisting Padre had never killed anyone but was saving lives. This woman had completely lost her mind.
Padre.
You're full of shit.
You're the one who lied to Padre about what you were doing today.
I brought Finch here to keep him safe from assholes like you.
No one wants these children safe more than Padre. That is why this place is so important. But Blue Jay ran off before she could perfect the cure.
When we tried it on, died.
Subsequently, Shrike again forced Naomi to continue the unfinished research. Naomi said she would not continue even if she had to die, but she underestimated Shrike's madness. Shrike had her subordinates bring in a head. It was Adrian's, who had now become a zombie. The collectors placed it in a clamp. Dwight and his wife seemed to sense something and stood up tensely, just as they had feared. The group brought the zombie head close to Finch.
Please don't.
Stop, please stop! Finch, wake up!
Please stop.
Come, Finch!
Shrike lifted the remote control and pressed the switch, slowly moving the head towards the child. Her aim was simple: if Finch was bitten, Naomi would have to use her research to treat him, or else watch Finch turn into a zombie and die. Eventually, the zombie's head bit into Finch's shoulder, and blood immediately began to flow. Seeing that it was enough, Shrike pressed the button to lift the head.
We're gonna kill you.
Why would you do that? I am the only one who could save his life. Get them out of here.
The wound in this location couldn't be amputated. Shrike urged Naomi to act quickly as Finch couldn't wait too long. Moreover, many more injured were being transported here. However, before the treatment, Shrike had one more important thing to do. 2 collectors held Naomi down, placing her index finger on the chopping board, then brought out her surgical knife. Regarding Shrike's claim that many patients were on their way, in reality, they were all people they considered useless, and in this transport vehicle were 2 such people, namely Morgan and Madison. They were unaware of their fate. On the road, Madison asked Morgan why he felt he couldn't protect little Morgan. What exactly had happened? Morgan also expressed that he was once a lost person, because he was too much of a saint. He messed up every time, and those around him never ended well. Madison quickly responded, saying he should change and do what he wanted. As she spoke, Madison began to feel unwell and had difficulty breathing. The oxygen in the box was locked, so Morgan had to shout loudly, asking the driver to stop immediately. The transport was handled by a man and a woman. Hearing the shout, they quickly opened the door to help Madison and get some oxygen. But suddenly, Madison bit her teeth and charged, knocking the two guards to the ground.
Morgan, go! Go!
Morgan took the opportunity to escape. Here, let me explain the character of Naomi. When Naomi first met John in the original series, she used a fake name. Naomi's real name is June, but for the sake of the audience's confusion, Naomi was used instead.
Stop, please, stop! Finch, wake up!
Stop.
Wake up, Finch!
To force Naomi to participate in the research, Shrike shockingly used Dwight's son as a test subject. Fortunately, 3 days later, the child's radiation treatment was successful, and the viral infection was indeed contained. So Finch was taken back to Padre. Finch wanted to ask where his parents were, but the voice over the speaker informed him. Many viewers were curious about who the person speaking in this small room was. In fact, if you observe carefully, the child is facing a mirror. The mysterious speaker is behind it, and his name is Padre. The organization is also named after him. Strangely, the children on the island had been taught from a young age that everything they had was given by Padre, yet no one had ever seen what he looked like. Madison helped Morgan escape, but she was captured. When she opened her eyes, the sight in front of her startled her. A burlap sack was hanging in the air, emitting zombie noises. Madison struggled only to find she was firmly tied to the surgical bed. A truly eerie situation. Then, the door made a sound. When Madison looked over, she was stunned. The person who came in was Naomi, who had a finger cut off.
Naomi. It was a long time ago.
They hadn't seen each other for 10 years and had thought the other was long dead. After the initial shock, Madison calmed down. Given her current situation, she suspected Naomi might be in league with Padre. Moreover, as a nurse, it was very likely Naomi had been the one letting Padre draw her blood for years. Naomi quickly shook her head, explaining, "I always thought you had died in that big fire years ago. I can't believe you're still alive. As for them drawing your blood, I think it's because I told them about your daughter 7 years ago. Alicia was bitten by a zombie and survived for a long time. Apart from the radiation factor, they guessed it might be due to hereditary reasons, so they used your blood for research." Realizing the truth, Madison understood, and from what Naomi said, she now had no value other than being used as a test subject for experimental drugs. Knowing her time was short, Madison asked Naomi for a favor. There was a file in Padre documenting the children she had taken as a collector. If possible, she wanted Naomi to help return these children to their parents. As they were talking, 2 guards received a message from Shrike asking if they were ready. Naomi nodded in cooperation, signaling that the experiment was about to begin. She turned to Madison, saying, "Don't worry, 10 years ago, you threw yourself into the stadium and saved all of us. This time, I'll be with you until the end. The child recovered from radiation treatment, and you can survive this too." Soon, Shrike arrived and lifted the burlap sack.
After everything Padre gave you, you betrayed him. This is how you're gonna make it up to him.
As she did so, Shrike slowly pressed the zombie head down, claiming righteously that this wasn't personal vengeance but merely for the continuation of Padre. Meanwhile, not far from the train, 2 figures appeared, Wren and Dove. Today was the day they were leaving the island for training. Taking this opportunity, Wren brought Dove here to show her some truths about Padre, but there were guards near the train, so Wren knocked on the rail with a hammer, planning to lure them away with the noise. Inside the carriage, Shrike was about to act.
At least let me sedate her.
No. She's brought Padre plenty of pain. It's time she felt a little herself. No.
The zombie was getting closer. Madison wasn't afraid of death, but the process was excruciating. She could even smell the foul stench. Just then, a hand unplugged the power socket.
Get her out of here now!
Seeing the guards distracted, Naomi immediately pulled out Shrike's pistol from her waist and knocked Shrike out with a single shot. She then quickly stabbed the zombie's head with a scalpel and swiftly cut the ropes. Only after these actions did she point the gun at the guards. Madison took the opportunity to push away the zombie and quickly sat up. With Naomi's cover, she exited the carriage. Naomi took down 2 guards with 2 shots. Just then, Shrike's walkie-talkie crackled to life with a squad asking for her location. Madison wouldn't give her that chance and kicked the walkie-talkie away. However, Shrike saw her people coming and quickly instructed Dove to contact the army. Dove was about to do so when little Morgan spoke up, saying Padre was a lie. They not only experimented on living people but also lied to us that we were abandoned by our parents. In reality, All the island's children were kidnapped by collectors. These words turned Dove's world upside down, and she didn't know whether to believe them. Madison also suddenly said, "Child, I remember you. I was the one who took you to the island. You were young, but I remember you. If we can get to Padre's island and access your personal information, we can find your parents." Suddenly, the walkie-talkie came to life again with the previous squad calling continuously. In the end, Dove didn't respond. She chose to return to the island with Madison to seek the truth. As no child doesn't want to know who their parents are, Dove pointed the gun at Shrike, wanting her to lead them into the island. Given its tight security, Shrike, in a burst of emotion, said that killing her would bring unimaginable retaliation because she was Padre's daughter. This revelation left everyone in shock. They couldn't believe Shrike was Padre's daughter. That meant while other children couldn't meet their parents, Padre could keep his daughter by his side. An enormous lie. They then set off, intending to take Shrike to the island, but no sooner had they alighted from the train than a group of people emerged from the woods, all armed. These people were the like-minded individuals Adrian spoke of, parents who had lost their children. Madison then spoke up.
I can't place where, but I do. And you were living in that auto yard. You ran out of food and couldn't feed your baby. And your son couldn't shake a cough. He thought he had pneumonia.
She was familiar because the children were the ones Madison had taken. The woman leading the group caught a glimpse of Dove and felt a strange sense of familiarity. Diane, trying to control her emotions, asked,
Where's Adrian?
Naomi, with great sorrow, informed her that Adrian was dead and that his daughter had also died years ago. The group, enraged, seized their weapons and turned them around. Little Morgan tried to explain, suggesting they could expose Padre together and find the children.
Expect us to believe that?
Look, Padre's lied to all of us. I mean, this is his daughter. Maybe we can find out what else he's lied about, together.
Diane, uncertain, decided to let the commander make the decision. Just then, a deep male voice came from behind.
Turn around.
Madison and Naomi were stunned. The commander these people spoke of was Daniel.
Daniel.
Madison? June.
You're alive.
As an old friend, Daniel trusted them unconditionally and immediately ordered his men to return their weapons.
We're gonna need them.